Hi guys, how are you doing today? Hope you are having a lovely day. Ready for new stories I've prepared for you? First one is about OP's greedy uncle, who is blackmailing OP for her father's inheritance. Remember guys, needs can always be met, but greed can never be fulfilled. Enjoy the stories guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. My 27 female father passed away a few years ago. Before he passed away, he divided all his assets between me, my sister, and my mother. This is mainly because I don't have a brother, and because my country practices Sharia law when it comes to family, inheritance, and marriage. A part of his assets would also go to my uncle, because my grandparents had already passed away when I was young. This became an issue because my uncle felt cheated out of his inheritance from my dad. I don't understand this mentality because in my country it is very common, even for people who don't have a lot of assets, to divide it among their daughters while they are still alive if they don't have sons. So I don't really get why my uncle is upset. This is very common practice. My uncle being mad at me wouldn't have been an issue if he wasn't my wali. In Islam, a wali is a legal guardian. Generally, a woman's wali would be her father, but in the absence of her father, it would be her brother. If she doesn't have a brother, it would be her paternal grandfather, and if not, it would be her paternal uncle, which was my case. When I wanted to get married last year, I needed my uncle's permission, because a Muslim woman getting married without permission from her wali is not legally or religiously permissible here. My uncle was still upset about the whole inheritance thing, so he told me he'd give me permission if I paid him a certain amount of money. I was fairly upset over this, so I decided to go for the nuclear option, in terms of family drama at least. I went to court and got permission to marry from the Qadi, judge in an Islamic court, instead. This upset basically everyone. I was airing family drama in public by going through the courts instead of just paying my uncle, especially when I could afford what he was asking for. Everyone I invited to my wedding ceremony would have known something was wrong because my uncle wasn't in attendance. My uncle still doesn't speak to me over this, and in hindsight, my life would have been easier if I had just paid him. If I decide to let it go and just give my uncle the money as a peace offering, it would also make my dad's side of the family be kinder to my mother. I don't think OP is in the wrong here. However, this is from a liberal Western perspective and culture. OP's uncle basically was blackmailing OP instead of looking out for OP's well-being in respect to OP's potential husband, assuming this is spirit of wali law. He should not have been using law in such a way, and the judge agreed. Let's see what the community thinks about it. Loud Puffin says, "It all depends, because these are two very different issues. Not the a-hole for going to a judge. Your uncle actually disqualified as a wali because he denied your marriage without a legitimate reason and tried to blackmail you. And according to Sharia, you have every right to turn to a judge. And it is obvious the judge thought so too. As for the inheritance, your uncle had a right to it, and your father divided his assets before his death so that you, his children and wife, wouldn't miss out on it if it all went to your brother. Some would say that was not right for your father to do. However, let's be pragmatic and realistic and not live in a theoretical world. The reason why your uncle would have inherited from your father in the first place is because according to Sharia, he is obligated to provide for you. Is he doing that? Would he do it? So you would have been left with no to little financial assets and have, with the most likelihood, no to little financial support from your uncle or extended male relatives. That is probably why your father wanted to make sure that the people he loves would be provided for after he was gone. And because of this, I still think not the a-hole, even by taking into account the religious, cultural aspects. Harvey Snake says, "Not the a-hole. Your uncle is mad because he couldn't extort money from you. He can go screw himself. It sounds like your mom is under your uncle's thumb, unfortunately. Hopefully you can get her and any siblings you have out of that situation." My older brother recently proposed to his fiancee, future sister-in-law, and they had an engagement party last week. Sister-in-law decided on an upscale restaurant that has sort of a dress code for guests. Won't say the name of the restaurant, however, it's a well-known restaurant in Minnesota. So my long-term girlfriend, Lauren, went shopping and bought stuff that I didn't even look at. But I kept reminding her of the dress code rule they had, and she said she already found an outfit that goes well with the rule, so no worries. I got ready early and went to the restaurant alone, cause Lauren said she'd come later after work. I waited for 20 minutes since Lauren usually takes time to get ready. I texted her to see if everything was okay, then she finally arrived, and soon as she walked in, suddenly all eyes were on her glittering, bright light dress. She actually showed up in a completely different outfit than the one she showed me, which went well with the dress code. But cause she changed her mind about what she wears every 5 minutes, I wasn't too surprised. Lauren approached everyone, then sat next to me. I whispered, "What the duck?" and said that the dress she wore wasn't part of the dress code at all. She shushed me, saying no one will notice. Well, everyone did. The head of the staff wanted to have a word with her about it. Then sister-in-law got involved. I was like, yeah, there's no way this was going to end well, especially after Lauren and sister-in-law started loudly arguing back and forth. Lauren was asked to leave after she refused to change her dress. She was angry. She told me we had to leave. I said not we, but she, since she broke the rule and I didn't. She was shocked by my response and insisted, but I said, sorry, just want to enjoy my brother's engagement. She complained not having money for an Uber, and I gave her the key and said she could take my car if she wanted. She walked out eventually, and the party continued on. Then I went home, and she was waiting for me, still angry as hell. She asked why the duck I let her go home alone, and stayed at the party after the staff and sister-in-law disrespected her and kicked her out. I asked what did she expect after she broke the rule they had. She said she expected to find a way to get around it, and my sister-in-law should have sided with her, since we're family, and also, I should have left with her when she was asked to leave. She added the dress code was actually very stupid and totally not her style anyway. I said she knew she was taking a chance by deciding to ignore the rule and show up like that. But she lashed out, saying she tried on over 10 outfits before deciding on this one, and there was no way to change it. And I knew that, since it's hard to convince her to wear stuff that she doesn't like, and that I shouldn't let her leave on her own since we're a unit. We've been arguing ever since. Edited to add, the dress code consisted of 2-piece outfits for women. Lauren wore a short, bright dress that stood out from the rest of the guests. Wow, guys. Do you see red flags waving same as me? I don't think OP is an a-hole here. OP's girlfriend broke the restaurant's clearly explained rules, deliberately going behind OP's back in doing so. Wearing a dress outside the dress code, likely to get noticed, is classic attention-seeking, self-centered behavior for sure. Let's see the community's opinion on the matter. Thrill Dr. 1 says, not the a-hole. Everyone knew the rules. Girlfriend made a conscious decision to violate them. All ramifications fall on her, and her alone. You are under no obligation to leave with her. It seems as though this was a power play on your girlfriend's part. Could she force the establishment to accept her outfit? Could she force sister-in-law to side with her, and then if all else fails, that you would be forced to leave the party and dutifully follow her out the door? In my opinion, Lauren is a troublemaker and looks for attention. Love Me Longtime says, the restaurant didn't write the dress code just to annoy your girlfriend and make her dress in a stupid and totally not her dress style kind of way. Your girlfriend is not so special that she can't follow a few rules, and she found that out, much to her annoyance. Not the a-hole. She played a stupid game and she had to go home. Now, buddy, that you didn't stand up for her and argue and make a scene and then storm off with her. Well, I'm sure that she feels that you are the a-hole. But you followed the dress code. You went to the important family event. You tried to minimize the drama at the confrontation. I would say not the a-hole, because you acted like an adult. And now you have to ask yourself if your girlfriend is such a keeper that you are willing to overlook such flexing and little tantrums going forward. Because there will be more going forward. My brother-in-law got engaged. Mother-in-law is more thrilled than the couple and is taking them with her to visit relatives and posting pictures, collecting gifts, food. I remember when my husband announced our engagement. She excused herself to the bathroom, saying she'd be back in 5 minutes. Well, I didn't see her till 2 months later. We started getting along. She's generous, sends gifts every holiday, brings food when visiting, but never quits her snarky comments, especially in public. Last week, my dear husband said my mother-in-law called and said she was coming to visit. My face looked like I ran out of oxygen. He also said that my brother-in-law and his fiancée were coming. I prepared dinner and was surprised to see my brother-in-law's fiancée brought meals with her. Mother-in-law said she asked her to prepare a few meals to share with the family. Anyways, soon as I put dinner on the table, mother-in-law started placing future sister-in-law's meals on the left side of the table, while mine were on the right side. Then she started comparing my meals with my sister-in-law's meals, like we're in a competition. I was shocked when mother-in-law started comparing my appetizers, main dish, salad, to what my sister-in-law brought. I couldn't eat because this was so humiliating. She kept praising sister-in-law's cooking while criticizing mine. I finally snapped when she compared my dessert to my sister-in-law's cake. I asked her what the hell she was doing, because my sister-in-law looked confused too. Mother-in-law said blatantly that she was comparing me and my sister-in-law's food, and said sister-in-law's cooking was better. My husband told her to knock it off, but I lost it. I called her out and told her she was being mean, disrespectful to me, after spending time and effort to cook. I put my foot down. I told her I won't be doing anything from now on for her to criticize. I'm not a doormat for her. I'm a woman with a degree, a job, a personality, an opinion, and more importantly, integrity. Sister-in-law sided with me when mother-in-law started arguing and told her she didn't appreciate what she did and that it was unacceptable. Sister-in-law took her bag and left. Husband argued with mother-in-law and then she left. She sent a text and thanked me for putting on a show and embarrassing her and making her and family look bad in front of my brother-in-law's fiance, who's supposed to see the best of our behavior. That now sister-in-law has a bad idea of what the family is and that I shouldn't have acted like that. My husband agreed with me being mad, but disagreed with my reaction. Looks like OP's mother-in-law exposed herself. If mother-in-law didn't want to be exposed, she should have thought about her actions and the consequences of said actions. And I'm pretty sure the minute she started that competition, it probably made the soon-to-be sister-in-law very uncomfortable as well. And guessing from sister-in-law's reaction, she probably has a level head and knew mother-in-law was being rude and trying to use her to poke OP's buttons, so she removed herself from the situation. Dream Weird Dream says, "Not the a-hole. She showed her true colors. You didn't let her walk all over you and treat you like garbage. I think you handled it perfectly. Good on future sister-in-law for agreeing with you too." Wine or Death says, "Not the a-hole, but I'm more than a little disappointed in the response of both of her sons. When you get married, and really before, a son should side with his wife, not his mother. His wife should be his number one and not be some mama's boy who always has to make his mama happy. It shouldn't have gotten all the way to dessert before they stepped in, and it shouldn't have taken you blowing up to snap some sense into them." Always Task says, "Not the a-hole. Your mother-in-law was out of line, and her son should have stepped in a lot sooner and shut that down. Instead, you had to, and it sounds like you did a fabulous job. You expressed yourself clearly and drew clear boundaries after she had stomped all over you and your feelings in your own home." My fiance has a cousin, Tiffany, that became a first-time mom about a month ago. Her and her husband got married because she became pregnant. They're honestly a cute couple, and I see nothing wrong with getting pregnant before marriage. She, however, is a Christian, and so is most of my fiance's family, so their situation was kind of a rushed matter. My fiance and I also have a 1-year-old daughter, and were engaged before we got pregnant, but life happens, you know. We're not in a rush to get married. The only people in my fiance's family who have a problem with this is Tiffany and her immediate family, my fiance's aunt, uncle, and other cousin. Tiffany is the type of person to post her beliefs on Facebook. Before she was a mom, it was mostly judgmental religious or political posts. Since she got pregnant, she's taken every opportunity to post about her parenting style and why it's the only correct way. She doesn't call anyone out specifically, but will conveniently find articles that support her parenting style and add her own 2 cents, which is always her bashing on moms who do anything different. The other day, Tiffany and family come over to my fiance's parents' house while we were also visiting. At one point, the rest of the family goes outside, but I stayed in to get my daughter calmed before her nap, and Tiffany is nursing her baby. She gets out her nursing cover and begins hating on moms who nurse in front of other people without one, which I did. This somehow turns into a rant about parenting choices she disagrees with. Moms who sleep train are cruel. I sleep trained. Moms who let sons wear makeup is aggression. Fiance's 3-year-old nephew was there wearing nail polish. Parents who keep their babies away from unvaxxed people are stupid sheep. Future sister-in-law and I both don't let her unvaxxed family hold our babies. The list goes on. Throughout this whole ordeal, I was silent. She finally looks at me and says, "Don't you agree?" with a slight smirk on her face. Now, I could have ignored the bait, but I took the opportunity to say, frankly, no, I don't. I parent the way I see fit and let other parents do the same. Being a mom is hard enough without other moms tearing you down. You've only been a mother for a month, and you're already the most judgmental mom I know. And then I left to put my daughter to sleep. By the time I'm done, she and her family are gone. My fiance's family all asked me what happened. They said they agreed with me, but I should have held my tongue. My fiance thinks it was necessary. Later, she posted a nasty Facebook status about me, without saying my name, and her family were bashing me in the comments. I don't really care, and I feel justified about what I said. I might be the a-hole because I could have been the bigger person and not have caused unnecessary family drama. What a judgmental person. Can't stand people like that. Anyway, she asked for OP's opinion and got it. Highwood Shady says, not the a-hole. Princess needs to take it down a notch. After all, she was tempted by Satan and rode a horse bareback. I can tolerate the odd holier-than-thou person, but not someone who has living proof she rode bareback against her religious principles. Tiffany is a hypocrite. All you did was point it out, politely. Grindelwald says, not the a-hole. You were actually really polite in your delivery from the sounds of it, which is way better than I think most people would react. She sounds like she's insecure about her own parenting skills and choices, and self-validates by putting down others. You're doing a great job. Continue doing what you're doing, and don't stoop to her level. She's desperate for that. Cloud King 15 says, not the a-hole. Posts like these always remind me that this sub is Am I the a-hole, not Did I make the absolutely best decision. While I'm sure this sub will agree that you're not the a-hole, don't let anyone convince you that you're the a-hole for standing up for yourself and not letting that nightmare's big mouth just run over you. Did you create some drama? Yeah, sure. Does that make you an a-hole? Not at all. Kudos. You sound like the kind of even-keel person that'll raise a cool kid.